All right, brilliant. Margot, I'm not quite sure how your last name is pronounced. Is it Mellet or Malay?
Mellet, can you hear
Millet?
me?
Yeah,
Mellet.
there's a little bit of static, but we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, great. So welcome to Margot, who is our next artist talk, talking about digital performance of Mallarmé's Un coup, jamais, le hasard. Terrible pronunciation. I speak Spanish, not French.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a PhD student in research and creation in the Department of French Literature at the University of Montreal. And I'm mainly interested in writing factories to explore what text can be, its possibilities on different medium and as a medium itself. In my PhD research, I try to explore a critical analysis of writing tool materials and media with the idea that stretch and drafts are already given us insight on how to deal with text, which is, I think, the main concern and the main question in literature, especially in digital environments. Inspired by the media studies approach, I try to explore the possibilities for the text to be written on screen beyond the concept of paper, sheet, or book, to seek a kind of a new plasticity and to rethink a traditional model. And to do so, I am working on video text by using video editing software and by hijacking it in a way from its intended use. So for several years, I have been using Shortcut video editing software to edit my text. And I choose Shortcut because it's a free tool and it has a huge and active community in it. So it's important for me to specify here, and first, I am absolutely not an expert in video editing nor in Shortcut. I haven't taken any class on video editing, and I develop mainly of my practice without reading the manuals. I know it's bad, so if there is among you some expert in video editing or in Shortcut, do not blame me, please. Take it as a statement in a way. I know that I hijacked in a way the tool, Shortcut, but is not initially intended to produce literature or publishing as well. So that's for the tool. Maybe I will share my screen to show. Actually, I will show my, if I can, yeah. No, I'm not looking. Is it?
Working?
I couldn't find my page, but I will share this screen. Sorry for the delay. I will share here. So I just will share my website. It's the same information on the wiki. I just show my website because I put it on my website as I put every research and creation. I think you can see it. Can you see it?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, great. So it's the same information on the wiki, but here I can show the image directly. So that's why I show it here. One of the work that has always fascinated me and has also fascinated many people, it's the Mallarmé poem Un coup, jamais, le hasard. And this fascination, I can show you some of the manuscript version of this poem. This fascination arises, from my point of view, not much from its poetry, but for its poetics. We remember the poem of Mallarmé, indeed, I think, less because of its words, even its good poetry, than its publishing trouble. I think the Mallarmé wasn't always happy with the publisher that he worked with. So for me, it's a backstage, it's fabrication of this poem that is really interesting. And yeah, so Mallarmé's poem is known for the struggle between the author and his publisher. and also for the straightness and the exactitude of Mallarmé project or Mallarmé's vision. So you can see here on this manuscript the many blue color and red color, the many requests from the author to really move the text in a way that is beyond, in the publishing context, beyond the possibility of publishing. I think Mallarmé never was happy with the result of his poem, of the publishing of his poem, and was also unhappy because the result maybe didn't match his idea of the poem. And on that subject, the many edition that has been made, an adaptation also reveal a certain mismatch between the author creative project and the publishing template or framework. So there is many different layout and edition of the poem, but are really different from one to another. And still, they still try to grasp the kind of the perfect layout for the poem, the perfect arrangement for it. Even Mallarmé is dead for many years now. And it's maybe my personal opinion, but I think that the publishing and writing tool will never be sufficient or fulfilling for Mallarmé's vision of the text, and even today. So from this point of view, from my point of view of the poem, Mallarmé conceived his poem outside the sheet, outside the paper, but inside the page as a text landscape, including the blanks, the gaps, the offsets sized less by the inch than by the feeling of emotion in the text and of the text. So I think there is a really interesting movement in the text. And the blank itself is inseparable from the image of the text, a complete image of the movement of the text, which is part of the poem, of its technicity, of its materiality as well. So for me, and that's my hypothesis of my performance here, is Mallarmé is therefore looking for the page, for poetry as a landscape. And this search of Mallarmé is, in my opinion, a kind of an awareness of the screen. But a small part of Mallarmé's vision challenge that I wish to explore it in my performance today. This is why I want to edit the poem of Mallarmé on the screen with a tool that is not made again for the text, but that can deal with movement of appearance and disappearance. So beyond the creation of surrealism and Dadaism as well, who like Mallarmé were really influenced by the press, the ledger layout, the typographic exploration, I have been inspired by several creations, in particular the Alan Lee Hurtig edition at first, and the picture walk, which cut directly in the page. These theories and experiments convey the idea of modernity in literature, where the text is no longer to be designed as only textual and linguistic environment, but also as a visual and a technical one. So I like to implement this perspective of literature with a visual poem to at least to try to capture the graphic dimension of Mallarmé's poem. About the performance, I wanted to introduce a researcher who I think is a master of performance, and my first performance, to be honest. So the researcher, Tănăsescu, who asked this question, which I hope I will answer in a positive way. He asked, I quote him, could there be any relevance to, or at least fun in it, a live stream involving sharing one's computer screen online, watching someone else's computer screen on one's own in order to watch a performance that requires apps that one might not have access to. I will share now maybe another screen, which is my workspace. If I will search for it, sorry. I can't find it. going to. I think I will try. You will tell me if you see my workspace. Do you see it? Or do you see just unconference meeting?
I can see the uh, editing software and a
A
blank.
shortcut? Can you see
Yes,
shortcut software?
yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So this is my workspace, and it can appear a bit scripted at first, but it gives, I think, publishing a new breath in a way where there is a place for each thing, and each thing is for me meant to edit text. So I cheated a bit because I realized that I haven't, I wouldn't have the time to edit a whole poem. So I edited a part of it. I already prepared my workspace for it to show how it works. And my plan was to continue to edit it while talking to you as clearly as possible. You will have to excuse me if there is any blanks. Either I'm looking for my English or I'm involved in some manipulation. Um, so this is my workspace. This is the part here with the black page is the preview of what I'm doing. Here is the part where I manage my filters of each element, and here is the timeline. So if I begin to show you how it works, I keep the page as an image of the background. So this is the first background, but I put it another layer on it. So if you see, I put layer one to another. And this is how I work in this under shortcut software. And the first layer is another page, which allows me to set a frame. Even I don't know if Mallarmé would have liked this idea. So this is my background. I also have here a writing guide that I have extracted for a Wikisource monospace edition for the poem, and that gives me an idea of section, but I found it more useful to use the grid directly on the preview. And since there is 40 lines in the poem, I use a 4 by 4 grid. So that allows me to put text in some particular space. Up to the writing guide layer, I have then the layer of each text, and I have distinguished 11 scene or board of the poem, which is 11 double page, because Mallarmé's poem work with a double page, not a single page, but a double page. That's why I choose a larger format in a landscape mode. So this is one, for example, like I can show. So this is the first scene, and if I show the other scene, I can access to a complete image of the poem. I will show each scene. Yeah. So I just edited the 4 scene of the 11th scene of the poem. Yeah. So each block contains text and filtered as text, which I put it in some places on the page. But I like to try now to use a filter that allows me to give effect of appearance and disappearance as well, which is the mask filter. I use it in different creation. It allows a type of animation of the text, which is close, I think, to literature aesthetic or even typographic creation, such as surrealist or Dadaist creation. So I have prepared one just to show you. So if I can just keep the superposition of different board and scene here, but I can try to give a kind of movement in a way. So this is a mask filter, which creates a cut in a page, just as Pitchler has used it, but without cutting directly on the page. And I have tried an effect on it, so it will appear at one moment. Yeah, so this is one effect of appearance of the text. I can do the same maybe for the second scene. So I will just copy and paste the same filter mask. But since I want for the text to be beyond or just after the mask, I will just add another track here, and I will put the filter of the text on this track, which is here, sorry. And I have to give the same emplacement of the mask than the text. So this mask here, I will change his coordinate. And here, I think, and here, yeah. His width and weight also. And okay, so this is the first mask. I will add another one. I can copy the filter and paste it, so it's the same mask, but I will change to have the complete section being masked as well. So this, I think it's one there, and it's way larger as well, and the same width. Okay, so I don't want to overwrite each mask. I will just want to add it to have the same mask, and I will do the same thing for each element of the text. And this one is more here and more lower as well. And oh, it doesn't appear. Okay, okay, I just will do the same effect. I am searching for the emplacement of the text. Okay, now we are onto something, and we are much thinner. So yeah. So this is a way, and now I want to for the mask to disappear progressively. So I will add another element, which is on my playlist, which is a transparent element here. And I will just superpose the mask on the transparent element to give an effect of disappearance, which I can then choose. I can choose to dissolve the mask, to cut it to bar horizontally. That's what I choose now, and we can maybe see the result. Yeah, so that's one of my lead for the performance as well. And if I can anticipate maybe one critic on this edition, on this project of Mallarmé's poem, is that we are still in a limited space in a way, and maybe it would have been better. This idea struck me actually yesterday with some regrets, I admit it. It would have been more consistent to attempt maybe an HTML edition with a kind of infinite space and infinite scroll to search for each word, to create his, for the reader to create his or her own poem and own reading of the poem. So I don't know if you have insight about it. We could talk about it maybe later. And so I will close now just to have kind of a time for discussion, but I wanted to end with a new quote of Stanislas coup, which says, moreover, performance and the performativity of digital per se presuppose intra-activity which generates community, in various terms, performative, networked, and ontological hybrid, involving a generating poem user machine. So that's why I try to perform here, and I'm really happy to have your comments about it, maybe to explore new ways of editing Mallarmé's poems on the screen and hijacking maybe other tools, because I like to hijack tools in a way. So. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Margot. That's fascinating. And I think too, I think for me, because I don't do a whole lot with visual ELIT and visual performance-based stuff, it's really fascinating to see the layering and the complex process that happens in that sort of performative aspect. So thank you. Questions for Margot? Comments, discussion points that came up? I'll open it to the floor.
I was actually fascinated when I looked on the website. There seemed to be quite a few of these reiterations of the poem, and I was wondering, is this part of a program, or how did this come about?
Can you repeat, please? I had a blank in my
Sure.
computer.
Sorry.
I didn't hear quite well. Sorry. Can you repeat it?
How did this come about? I noticed that there were quite a few iterations of poems on Mallarmé's coup jamais, le hasard. You wouldn't guess I'd taken French, but oh well.
There was many adaptation of Mallarmé's poem, and there is I quoted it also. There is a series of adaptation that use images as well, because I think that strikes people as the classic dimension of the text. How can we improve it in a way that kind of reconcile literature with digital art as well, and performance art as well. But there was also pieces of I don't know the word in English. I'm sorry. Mise en espace, set on the space, artistic of the space of the poem, just to feel all the complexity of this. Maybe two simple ideas is to consider that literature is also what is not text and what is between each word, and the space that we can inhabit in our reading is this blank space. So yeah. I don't know if I answered correctly to your question, Tina, but thank you. Okay.
Great. Maria, do you have questions?
Hi. Well, I was always very engaged with Mallarmé, so I was wondering, Margot, I came a bit late, and whether you have tried different forms and ways to edit, and present the poem, or whether you selected this way in connection to the conceptual ideas that are presented in the poem, or whether you could say something about it. I don't know if I missed it at the beginning.
No, it's a good question, because I'm attracted by the idea that Mallarmé's poem can be on the screen easily than it can be on the paper. But to be on the screen means several things and several different things, and there is many, I think, possibility to edit Mallarmé on the screen. I tried shortcut today, as I say, but I think an HTML edition will be maybe more exploring the search for reading and for creating the on movement of the text. So I will surely try an HTML version of it. I like also I think the idea of hypertext can also be very consistent for Mallarmé's poem, because I think if you choose to read one word on the page, you will have to follow the movement of this word to another word, which is not maybe close in the space area of it, but I don't know, I think this kind of movement for the reading is very close to hypertext also. So that's why I think that HTML publishing or HTML edition will be maybe more consistent, and I will try it also. But for the visual and graphic aspect of Mallarmé's poem, I didn't find more or maybe more useful to me, and I use Shortcut because I know also this tool, and I like to hijack it with some projects that are not for just visual aspect. But yeah, maybe there will be another tool or digital tool to edit it as well.
Yeah, well, there is so many ways, isn't it, that you could do the same kind of through motion graphics, or yeah, in terms of HTML is in some ways is better because it's this kind of landscape of the page, isn't it? And being able to actually select the different words and everything. Yeah, no, it was nice just to see the process of how you were doing that. But anyway, yeah, no, thanks a lot.
Fab. Thank you. I'm really interested in the performative aspects. You know, we talk about the crossovers between performance and electronic literature, and especially when thinking about sort of older literature that didn't have the opportunity that we do now with technology to put it into this sort of performative capable space of digital media. So can you talk a little bit about the performativity of the work and how that speaks to your process, or vice versa, how your process speaks to that?
That's a good question, and a tricky one as well, because now it's always hard to show your practice. I mean, it's maybe easily to show how to use a tool because you follow the manual. But to explain and to show your practice that you didn't think about it, or you didn't have a kind of a reflexive aspect on it, it's kind of a tricky one, because you find some kind of justification of it in your in a more intimate process that is your own. Sorry, I just search my word again. And but I think that performance can be as well, not just because I have set this kind of performance. So okay, I will show then this and this. So I have kind of organized my performance, which is performative in a way, but you cannot anticipate how the tool will work with your performance, and what the tool will do with what you have organized for it. So so I think Bug is the more performative thing to do in performance. I think I like to hijack things, but I also like to thinking of Bug as something that you will learn from it, and I think that's what the most maybe interesting thing in performative and performance as well. It's an experience that you learn from it, and not such as classical conference when you present something that you already know. So yeah, that's kind of maybe intimacy with digital environment that you learn from performance and from things that do not work as you want it to do.
And thank you so much. That brings us to the close of Margot's artist talk. So really appreciate that performativity in the talk, and sort of embracing things that are unanticipated, and bringing us closer to the work through that. So thank you very much to Margot. I'm going to do my typical stop and start the recording.